Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This is the Digital Asset Investor, and today I got back from Miami and I was going to give you some of my thoughts on the whole thing. Okay, so let's start here. The first thing I wanted to show you was the first day that we got there. The line just to get in the conference with a ticket was crazy. Watch this. There's no sound with this, but you can see that line right there was anywhere from 2 to 3 or 4 hour line. And so what I did is I walked around to the front where the line started, and I noticed that people were starting to form a second line and pretending to be media and going through that line. And I said, well, I'll just risk it and go to the front of that line and see if they'll just let me in. And it worked. So I got in that line in about 30 minutes. No, it was less than that, 10 minutes. Okay. Now you just got to see a few of these clips from Bitcoin Miami. Watch.
As well. So we're really excited about the progress of LDK.
Everybody, we have a very urgent announcement.
All right, I don't know what's. Yeah. I'm right.
So he got taken out of there. And then we had this. This is a great, this is a tale of two digital assets. Top is the Bitcoin conference, and then they show you a clip from Ripple's swell.
Chad, Michael Saylor, come on! Woo! Yeah! We're not selling! We're not selling! Fuck Elon! Fuck Elon!
Dude. All right.
Time for adults to have a real conversation. Okay, you don't need to see any more of that. You get the picture, okay? Now, this is my takeaways. I tweeted this out today. Bitcoin Miami 2021 takeaways. I love their passion. I do. And I think that Bitcoin is a big deal. I think Bitcoin is very important. It got all of us through the door on this thing, but that doesn't mean that we have to not tell the truth about what it is and what it is not. That's what I keep saying. Now, the thing that I noticed, and other people I'll show you in a second also noticed, is the anti-government stuff. This conference, and I'll show you some examples, they're going with this anti-government theme, and that's not going to end well because the regulators are coming. The Bitcoin is the only one, and all others are shit coins, will not end well either, I don't believe. Store of value, sure. The tech that changes the financial system forever, no. Okay? Now, I got people, I don't know if kids are crying outside or, no, I think they're not crying. I was wondering if somebody had gotten hurt. Okay, now look at this. This is artwork that was at Bitcoin 2021. I said I'm no big fan of government, but this art at the Bitcoin conference was over the top disturbing. This is not the way, in my opinion. They did this with Janet Yellen, Steve Mnuchin. I mean, it almost looks like they've been beat up or turned into a zombie. I don't know what in the world they're trying to get at there. Now, there were some pictures. Brad Garlinghouse and Michael Arrington, that's who this is, but they apparently stayed away from the actual conference, but met up with some big timers wherever they were. And then this is Michael Arrington tweet. He's actually hanging with Paris Hilton in the same place, I'm assuming. So they had a big wig party somewhere. Now, I showed you this in a prior video. But I wanted to make a point here. This is Chris Giancarlo. This is probably the most important person at the Bitcoin conference. But it's important for you to understand the Bitcoin people at this convention did not even notice the guy. This is what was more telling to me than anything. If a Max Kaiser or a Michael Saylor walked through this crowd, they would be mobbed. But this guy, who's more important than any of them, by a long shot, was not even noticed. In fact, myself and Brad Combs were the only ones that noticed this guy and immediately went and talked to him. The first thing I said to him was that I said, I don't know if I need to apologize to you or what, because I've done so many videos on this guy and gone through his background and shown you connections, but I decided, but what was so amazing to me is a couple of things. First, the Bitcoin audience, these guys that are hardcore Bitcoin at this thing, they didn't even notice the guy. There's a detachment, in my opinion, from reality amongst a large percentage of this. And I'm talking, when I say this, I'm not talking about people that just own Bitcoin. There's no problem with that. I'm talking about the people that have this attitude of, oh, it's Bitcoin only and it's down with banks and we don't need the dollar anymore. That is not happening, okay? This guy is one of the people that knows that's not happening. In fact, one of the things the first thing that he pointed out when he walked, when I was standing beside him, there was a display that I will show you. Hold on one second. I forgot to pull it up, and I'm going to pull it up right now. I think I forgot. Maybe I didn't forget. Okay, here it is. There was a display on in the ceiling. They had it hanging on the wall at the top, and this was the display. It says the United Nodes of Bitcoin. It's literally got George Washington's face being darked out, or he's wearing the little hoodie. It says no leader, and then all over this thing, it's just, I mean, it's almost blasphemy is what it, I mean, it just doesn't have, and again, I said this is not the way. Anyway, but I want to go back to Chris Giancarlo, because while he was standing there, I pointed something else out to him. I said, yeah, look at this. Because this is a video someone took of this is about where we were standing. I want to watch, I'll pause it when it gets to it. Right there. What that says, this is an actual company, and I don't know who the company is, but this is an actual company, and their phrase here says KYC is the illicit activity. In other words, we don't need KYC. Let's just get around that. But that kind of theme, the regulators are coming, and that's the kind of thing that's going to scare these people into doing something more drastic than what even Bitcoiners want them to do. But what I want to drive the point home here about, let's go back to Chris Giancarlo. Hold on one second. Apparently there's a storm going on outside, and I got kids that are in the storm. My wife is yelling at them to get out of the storm, I don't know. May have to pause this and go back and deal with it. Okay. All right. So, okay, I'm back. That was a disaster. I had wet kids storming all over them. I got kids with bikes. Had to deal with that. Anyway, so I'm now wet. But we're going to get back to who is Chris Giancarlo. And what was really important, and all those people had no idea. And that was more telling than anything to me. This guy was... he was the CFTC, chairman of the CFTC. He was sworn in, Trump, I guess, let me see, who, doesn't say there. But anyway, he was nominated by Obama as the CFTC chairman, okay? And then he's held all kinds of different positions. He's now with the Chamber of Digital Commerce. He's Wilkie Farden Gallagher, which represents Ripple. Okay, he is the chairman of the board of this company, which is a joint venture between Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, member of the advisory board Chamber of Digital Commerce, and then he's the one that's the founder of the Digital Dollar Project. Well, today I'm just going to focus on the Digital Dollar Project, just that one thing. Okay, this is the Digital Dollar Project, And then this is Chris Giancarlo. That's Daniel Gorfine, his partner. This guy is David Treat from Accenture, okay? And the backers, or the companies that are the partners of this, is Digital Dollar Foundation and Accenture. And remember, Accenture was one of the early investors in Ripple. So there you have that. What I want to show you is the advisory group. So while Max Kaiser is saying F Elon Musk, and while they got a dog coin guy running across the stage, and while they're talking all their anti-government stupid stuff, okay, this is what's really going on. They literally had a guy who is working with the people I'm about to show you on a digital dollar, and they're running around with a dog coin and saying we're not selling F Elon Musk and all this silly stuff, when what's really going on in the United States, and all of this is against the backdrop, the digital dollar, none of these things can be built on Bitcoin. Wouldn't work. And everybody knows it. They all know it. Okay? It has to be built on something that's much more important and much more technologically advanced, and everybody knows it. Now let's look at some of these people. I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm just going to hit you with a few of them. This guy, and remember, this is the advisory group to the Digital Dollar Project that Chris Giancarlo heads up. First guy, his name is Kai Sheffield, I guess. He's the head of crypto at Visa. Imagine that. Then you've got Kelvin Chin. Look at him. As you go down, he is Vice President, Senior Associate General Counsel at Capital One. He was Manager of Innovation Policy at the Federal Reserve System until 2019. Then you've got Matthew McDermott. Well, what does he do? Well, it turns out he's Global Head of Digital Assets at Goldman Sachs. And look right here. While Mike Novogratz was wearing his purple shirt, or his purple jacket at the Bitcoin conference, and they're talking about Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, he's congratulating this guy from Goldman Sachs, and this guy's working on what really matters, things like the Digital Dollar Project. Then you've got this guy, Alan Lane. Alan Lane is with Silvergate Bank. Silvergate will be exclusive issuer of USD-backed stablecoins by the Diem Project. See what's going on, folks? It's the shell game. Look over here. Look at this Bitcoin conference. It's so big. And meanwhile, the most important person that's walking through the Bitcoin conference is not even noticed by the hardcore Bitcoin people. Then you have Chris Brummer. You'll remember him because he has interviewed Brad Garlinghouse, all the cast of players, including I guess that's the CEO of PayPal. And as I recall, Brad Garlinghouse was on that same stage when they were doing that interview, I believe, based on what I remember. Okay? Dr. Brummer is also member board of directors of Fannie Mae. All right? Then you have Don Wilson. Well, look at Don Wilson. He started, which part did I want to show you? Oh, he is one of the 2018, he co-founded ErisX. ErisX is one of the players in the game. Elizabeth Gray. Let's see what her she's a partner at Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher with Chris Giancarlo. And then she was at the Securities and Exchange Commission. All right. Erin McCourt, Managing Director at Morgan Stanley. She was at Lehman Brothers when it went down. That's some great experience to be able to talk to everybody about the transition to digital assets. Then you have Jesse McWaters, Global Head of Digital Public Policy at MasterCard. He's also there at the World Economic Forum. Then you have John Whelan. Let's see what he does. Oh, there you go. Managing Director of Digital Assets at Banco Santander, which is a Ripple customer. All right. Then you have Jonah Crane. Jonah Crane, let's see as we go down. Let's see what else he did. There's something I wanted to pull out about Jonah Crane, and I'm trying to find which thing it is. I just don't remember what I was going to go over about Jonah Crane. I'll have to go to the next one. All right. Then you got Larry Tabb. He's the head of market structure research for Bloomberg Intelligence. You think they're going to be involved in the transition? Then you got Mike Pawar, is that how you say that? He was a commissioner at the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, executive director at the Milken Institute. Let's see if there's anything else interesting in here. I'm sure. SEC, chief economist, U.S. Senate. He was a senior economist at the White House. This guy's got a decorated. Then you got Rob Massey. Rob Massey's with Deloitte, global tax leader, blockchain and cryptocurrency. Then you got Rob Palatnik. Okay, Rob Palatnik is the managing director, global head of technology research at where? The DTCC, and he's also chairman of the board of directors at Hyperledger. And then you have Sheila Warren. Well, we all remember her. She's at the World Economic Forum, and she was at Ripple to Swell. All right, then we had Sigal Mandelker. Okay, he's an American lawyer. Look at this. We got many people from the Treasury. Secretary of Treasury for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence. Remember what I've told you? What did we hear about Bitcoin for 8 years? What did we hear about Bitcoin? Oh, well, that's for money laundering and for terrorists and this and that. They tried to make us think it was not trackable when it was eminently trackable. I've always thought they wanted people to flow their money, the bad guys, to flood their money into these things, thinking that they could hide it there, when the governments of the world knew all along that they could not, and that it was designed to be tracked. That's what I thought this was all about. I still think so. Then you got this, Tim Morrison, he's on the board, and he was the advisor to President Trump on Russia and Europe, White House national security. He's helping on this digital dollar. Tom Jessup, we know him, Fidelity Digital Assets. Then we've got Tom Zajic, I don't even know how to say that. Anyway, Chief Innovation Officer at Swift. What do you know? And then you've got Tom Sayegh, White House Senior Advisor for Strategy, former Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs, Department of the Treasury. Then you have Usman Ahmed, Head of Global Public Policy and Research at PayPal. And remember, we haven't heard anything from PayPal about PayPal Galactic since 2013, the same year that Peter Thiel, one of the founders of PayPal, invested in Ripple. Valerie Abin, Global Banking and Capital Markets Security Lead for Accenture, one of the first investors in Ripple. I want to finish this by saying, this is what Chris Giancarlo, who was casually working his way through the crowd and could do it because nobody even knew who he was, because Bitcoin is not about changing the financial system. What's going on with Bitcoin is almost like a rabid cult, and it's all about the speculation of Bitcoin versus what these people are doing, which is building what's going to change finance in the United States and the world. And these guys are too focused on all this flashy, silly stuff and Elon Musk to focus on what's really happening. This is why I've been glued to Ripple and the XRP ledger and Stellar and all these things that are really involved with what all these people are doing behind the scenes all this time. It's so obvious, it's so in your face if you're a grown up. But what's going on at these conferences, and look, like I said, I want Bitcoin and Ethereum to do well, but proof of work is not taking us to the promised land. Never was, and they know it, okay? These things are going to be built on the Ledger and Stellar network and some of these greater technologies. That's the way this is going to happen. And the Chris Giancarlos in the room, these are the grown-ups in the room. I should have been fresh shaven for him. He's so important, but I was not. He caught me at the wrong moment. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that this was the most important man at the Bitcoin conference, and they didn't even know he was there. Thanks for listening.